Okay, it's 8 o'clock on my watch. So whether you're joining us live or you're uh, watching this after the event, welcome. And what this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in August. I'm doing a live meditation sit, and I'm going to be guiding two. What I'm working on right now is Dzogchen, which is a branch of Tibetan Buddhism. And it's interesting because the kind of perspective that Dzogchen takes is similar to the one that I've been talking about in my latest video called Why Enlightenment Isn't Serious, something along those lines it's called. And what I mean is the view from the Dzogchen point of view is that there is no path to enlightenment. The path is right now, and how we choose to pay attention to what is happening to us right now. In Dzogchen, we're encouraged to realize that the Buddha nature, or the Dharmakaya, or the no self, or emptiness, is already who we are. And there's not so much striving involved as in other meditation systems where you're trying to go through stages, you're trying to cultivate different types of concentration and so on. You're trying to make distinctions, you're trying to learn a system. Dzogchen isn't really like that. Dzogchen is much more poetic and more direct, pointing to who you really are. And sometimes when you listen to Dzogchen talks or teachers, or you read a book about Dzogchen, or even in my guided meditations, often it can sound very weird and sexy or, out there. The thing is, we're just trying to point to something that is already immediate. It's already in your experience. It's already available. Sure, that doesn't mean that we all know it. In fact, not many people do or ever will contact the sort of underlying truth that Dzogchen is trying to teach. But that innate purity, that innate clarity and awareness, and the innate awakened mind is already there to just see it, not have to become it, not to cultivate. You don't have to force things here. It's about seeing clearly. It's about contacting what's already there within you. Sounds mystical, I know, but when you have a clear insight into this, you realize how simple it actually is. It's our tendency to get lost in the human condition. It's our tendency to try and understand things conceptually rather than through the body and through the raw experience of being alive. That's what one of the obstacles to just this direct recognition of this clear light is often called, or the Buddha nature, or the seer. Okay. So in Dzogchen, you can have your eyes open or closed. You don't have to sit in a fancy position, although I'm just going to do it out of habit because I'm also quite tired as well. So I'm going to sit up nice and tall here on my stool. And I'm just going to relax any habitual tension in the body, face, and the shoulders and the arms and the legs. We tense up during the day, we just tense up moment to moment. By having the body loose, we just recognize that there's nowhere to go. This particular technique is just sitting. What does that mean? Well, it means sitting in full awareness. The only real sort of goal is to be attentive to what is happening in your mind, in your body, in your emotions, primarily, and also in the room around you or the surround. And to let go of striving, trying to gain, trying to achieve something. Just sitting, aware, clear. It's kind of an anti-meditation, but it's most certainly meditation. What you'll come to realize if you practice meditation long enough is that you don't need to alter things. You don't need to try and change how you feel. You don't need to try and change your emotional state or your mind. You don't need to try and calm the mind. Because this is simply a mechanism of our false sense of who we are. Our open, empty being is just a container for everything, not just the pleasant, not just the unpleasant, but everything. Here we're just trying to take up residency there. Not that we have to do anything special for that to happen. It's contacting the thing that is beyond all sight, sound, touch, emotion, thought, and just fully embracing whatever we're experiencing. This is the enlightened mind. The radiant Buddha just sees, it doesn't prefer. It receives. It even receives any parts of you that are resisting, that are, feeling alienated and separated. It just receives all, everything. The wandering mind is not a problem, folks. Even if you get lost in it, it's really no problem. In Dzogchen, you can't miss, you can't truly get lost. Any object that feels like a subject is not a true subject. Any emotion that feels like that's who you are is not who you are. Any thought feels like that's who you are is not who you are. Any image in your mind that feels like that's who you are. Any combination, any body sensation, even the feeling of your head and your face. These are all objects in consciousness, like looking at a fish tank in an aquarium. You are the water. You are the aquarium. You're not the paraphernalia. Just let everything, all the paraphernalia, all the fish, I'm speaking metaphorically, all the thought, emotion, confusion, joy, the distraction, the focus, everything is just arising in this pure space, this pure witness, seer. Sounds sexy, I know, but it's not that sexy. It's just a recognition. A recognition not to tie yourself in knots, not to forget who you actually are. It's like being a character in the Matrix film. The Matrix seems very real, convincing, but after all, they're all just plugged in to a fantasy. This is the recognition of your Buddha nature is a similar experience. You can fall into awareness, you can fall into clarity over your true self, but you cannot obtain it. You cannot grasp it. All grasping is not it. You cannot hold on to it. You cannot even predict when you'll realize it, but what you can do is follow these instructions passed down through the centuries, these pointers, these methodologies. You can follow them and they make you more likely to suddenly realize all of this. It will all make sense. And the pointers will seem still true, but superfluous. Like when you ride a bike, the instruction manual seems ridiculous. Same thing here. So don't get too fixated on the instruction manual. Just use it until you no longer need it. In Dzogchen, we don't manipulate, even if it feels unpleasant, even if we're lost in thought, even if it doesn't feel like we're meditating, even if we feel shit, pardon my French, we don't manipulate, folks. We just feel as fully as possible, letting it pass through us like water, cleansing us, cleansing our consciousness, knowing that that isn't who we are anyway. All this content and form is not who we are. And once you realize it's not who you really are, the non-resistance can skyrocket because you've no reason to hang on, you've no reason to push away, no matter what it is, what it feels like, because you're free from it. You don't add on to it, you don't contort it, you just let it wash right through. So we're just sitting, we're just being aware. Awareness is broad over the entire body, including thought, including sounds around us, including the body and our emotions. Non-resistance, not striving, folks. The Dzogchen view is that there's nothing to obtain. We do have to follow these pointers and instructions till we realize and we're really convinced that there is nothing to obtain. But that is the view of Dzogchen. The trouble with the true self is you cannot see it through the objects of your consciousness. Yes, I know, I'm just going to say again, this sounds very sexy and whatnot, but it's very direct, very clean, very clear, not so sexy. It'd be like trying to take a photo of a camera with that same camera. It's not possible. That's why we struggle to awaken, to become enlightened, because we're so used to manipulating, to conceptualizing, to putting our attention into what we're experiencing, not where it is happening. Doesn't mean we can't do it, but we cannot do it by manipulating our experience in any way. You can't necessarily will it. It will just hit you like a ton of bricks. But you can make it more likely by following the pointers and instructions. Pure awareness, non-resistance, just sitting, not striving. No manipulating. embracing everything, but also not identifying with anything. Embracing because it's not separate from you, but not identifying because it isn't. That pure Buddha nature, the pure Dharmakaya, the light of consciousness, the backdrop to everything we experience. And so we don't fixate on it because that is the source of much of our suffering in life. Successful Dzogchen ends the journey of searching and striving and trying to be spiritual, trying to be a good meditator and yogi, and trying to have a spiritual personality. Takes you right to the jewel. Cuts out the nonsense. Shows you much of why we have difficulties. And much of that comes down, as Sasaki Roshi says, to the fact that we believe that we exist as a thing. And we forget this pure light, this pure watcher, seer. Okay, folks, 8:30. So that's the end of our guided Dzogchen for tonight. I will be back on Tuesday for more. If you want to do some more, you can check out my sort of library, quite small at the moment, of live streams. I did one last night, similar theme. You can also check out the Dzogchen articles on my website. If you go to articles, learn to meditate, Buddhist meditation, you'll find articles on Dzogchen and Mahamudra, which is related, very closely related to Dzogchen. All right. Good night.